Hello! Kamusta ang mahaba-habang bakasyon after part 3? So again, we're going to continue, but this time, this is another chapter of your integral calculus. Ito na yung actually second part. We're now going or proceeding to the application. But before we go to application, magbe-basic muna ulit tayo na recall. Okay, as you remember, ang differential calculus is the opposite or the opposite of the integral calculus, where integral calculus is the antiderivative. If you still remember or recall, we discussed the limits in the first part of differential calculus. But here, in integral calculus, we're going to discuss limits almost in the end. No? Papunta na kasi tayo sa end ng discussion natin. Hindi naman ibig sabihin this is the end. I mean, application na kasi tayo. So, lahat kasi sa atin sa engineering, ang discussion natin, more on theories, basic principles, tapos, i-apply ngayon natin. That's why our math is actually an application science that we're going to apply in our daily lives. So, ganun yung gagawin natin ngayon. Pag-uusapan ngayon natin is about definite integrals. So, why definite? Before, nung nagko-compute tayo ng mga equations problems, meron tayong may plus pa, no? So, yung C is the combination of all the constants. So, ngayon wala tayong value ng C. And we're not computing for the equation, magkakaroon na tayo mismo ng value. So, para saan yung value? Yun yung mga paggagamitan ngayon natin ng integral calculus. Like in differential calculus, may application. Ano yung application? Let me hear. Okay, very good. It is the maxima and minima. So, how about in integral calculus? May maxima and minima ba? Actually, this is different from the differential calculus. Now, pag-usapan ngayon natin dito is more on equations, graph, areas, and volume. So, again, before tayo mag-proceed sa application, pag-usapan muna natin yun yung limits. So, kabaliktaran nga, no? Yung limits sa differential, unang diniscuss. Ngayon naman sa integral, bandang huli natin i-discuss. So, our topic for today, part 4 is the definite integral, specifically limits. Okay, so ano ba ang summation notation? So, if you wonder or if you're thinking, sir, yung differential is from the root word differ or different. So, tama yan, no? Kasi, as we remember, kinuha natin yung difference ng dalawang bagay. Yung may delta. Sana hindi nyo makalimutan. At tinawag ng differential calculus. Now, integral means integrate or pinagsama-sama. Mga parang maliliit na bagay o broken pieces, not broken pala, small pieces, na pinagsama-sama, making it up as a whole. I mean, binuo, ginawang isang bagay. So, pag sinabi ngayong pinagsama-sama, integrate, it involves sum or adding things. Kaya, we're going to talk about summation notation. So, ano ba yung summation notation? On your book, on page 143, timing, ano ba yung 143? During our time, 14344, na yung mga secret code na I love you very much. 5254. Mahal na mahal kita. Okay, ngayon wala nang gumagawa ngayon, no? Okay, si sir, maka-oldies. Okay, hindi. Peres lang tayo, ha? I'm still part ng generation millennials. I'm still a millennial. Okay, so according to the book, summation notation is being used to represent summation of numbers in a short possible way. So, what does it mean? Before, pag mahaba yung computation ninyo, marami kayong ina-add, instead of writing it one by one, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 and so on and so forth, sino-shortcut na yon sa pagsusulat. Kaya nga, notation. So, to have it in a short way, gagawa tayo ngayon ng paraan. Ano yung paraan na yun? By writing it down in a summation notation. Now, for example, yung numbers represented by R. Bakit ba R? Kasi yun yung first letter ng name ko para sikat ako. Ayan, gamitin nyo rin yung first letter nyo ng name nyo para sikat kayo. So, yung R sub 1, R sub 2, pwedeng it can be represented as 1 plus 2 plus 3 and so on and so forth to the end. Yung pinakadulo. So, if I'm going to write down in a short possible way or writing it in a summation notation, so lalagyan ko ng symbol, no, Greek, capital letter yan, no, representing sum, ibig sabihin. So, wala pa kasing S dati. Tapos, yung R is the number. Ano yung I? So, mamaya pag-uusapan din natin ano ba yung mga symbol na yan. So, sabi ko nga, pag nagka-calculus, naglalatin din tayo o nag-Greek. No? Kaya hindi talaga maintindihan pala. Kasi yung math, may history rin talaga yan. Hindi basta-basta. No? Kaya, wow! Pag magaling sa math. So, paano ngayon binabasa ngayon yung symbol na yon? So, yung addition or adding number to another number, by writing it in a summation notation, it is now read as the sum from I equals to 1 to n of u sub I. Or, sorry, r sub I. So, mali pala yung u, r kasi pala ginamit ko. No? So, ulitin ko ha. It is read as the sum from I, ano yung I na nakikita sa ilalim? Ito, I is equals to 1. So, initially, yung number daw, kasi si R1, R2, R3, ibig sabihin yung 1, 2, 3, yan yung I. Subscript yung I. So, inunahan ko na kayo, no? So, parang lumalabas na R sub I1, R sub I2, and so on and so forth. So, saan daw nagsimula si I? Representing R1 is 1. Papunta daw kay N. Now, the sum from I equals to 1 to n. So, hindi natin alam kung saan mag-i-stop. Of, this is not u. No? Again, r sub I. So, yung r is the number, subscript is I, where I is represented by 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. Where I is initially from 1 to n. Kaya kung ito ay 10, lalabas na 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. From 1, I is equals to 1, where n is the 10 of r sub 10. So, ganun yung mangyayari. So, sa pamamagitan yan, nasusulat ng mas madali kaysa isulat ng mahaba. So, that's the first purpose of summation notation. So, related yan sa integral calculus na pertaining sa definite integral. Okay, so where the symbol, again, Greek capital letter known as sigma. Kaya, sa mga may fraternity dyan, or brotherhood, so, ayun yung madalas na ginagamit, no? Sigma. Pero, minsan na-incorporate nila or nare-relate ang sigma sa babae. Actually, walang kinalaman. Same in the English alphabet, S for sum. Wala kasing S dati. Ngayon, yung sum, ginagamit na yung letter S. Kaya nga, di ba, yung integral calculus, sino naka-invento ng symbol na elongated S o tinatawag kong bulate or malanding S? Sino? Dalawa lang naman yon. Si Wilhelm Leibniz, no? Parang siya ngayon lumalabas na naka-invento ng integral. Si Newton naman yung differential calculus. No? Parang ganun, no? Pero walang specific or pinaka truth about that kind of story. Where I is the summation index used as dummy subscript. So, importante pa rin yan kahit dami subscript, siya yung nagsasabi kasi na siya ba ay si 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's the brief explanation regarding summation notation. So, if we're going to have an example, mag-example tayo, but before we proceed sa example, pag-usapan mo natin yung formula. Sabi ko nga, no, if we're going to apply in a long method way, pwedeng we can write it in a summation notation para mas mapaliit. So, may mga formula bawat isa. Now, for example, formula number 1, where the summation of I from 1 to n is equals to, dito ang focus, so first formula, n times the quantity of n plus 1 divided by 2. So, ano yung n? So, again, yung n, yun yung pinaka-last number kung saan papunta si I. Tapos, pag si I naman ini-squared, so parang dalawang set nito, ano? Ibig sabihin, yung n plus 1 over 2 times the same, n plus 1 over 2. So, gagamitin nyo ng algebra yan, ipa-factor, and so on and so forth. So, meron na tayong pinaka-fixed formula. N times the quantity n plus 1 times the quantity 2n plus 1 divided by 6. So, yung I cube, parang si I times I squared lang. So, ito na yung pinaka-simplified form. Tapos, the summation of k, where k is constant or any number. So, ginagawa lang, si k nilalabas lang, no? So, kasi wala naman siyang parang kinalaman sa summation, nilalabas lang. Pero, you have to multiply it by n. Okay? Now, next formula, if I have k to be multiplied by r sub I, where I is a function, so sabi ko si k walang kinalaman or hindi makaka-apekto sa summation, nilalabas lang, but you have to evaluate the summation. Okay, paano in-evaluate? It can be the first, the second, the third. So, depende yan. Okay, how about in the rule of adding and subtracting two summations? So, parang dinistribute lang yung summation para sa r sub I at saka sa d sub I. So, pinaghiwalay lang. Nasa inyong rule. Importante yan. Basic rule. Okay? So, nagigets ba? Now, for example, what is the sum or the total of the executive numbers from 1 to 10? So, ibig sabihin, ano yung total niya pag inad mo si 1 plus 2, 1 plus 3 plus 4, and so on and so forth. So, hindi mo kailangan imano-mano yun. May mga formula ngayon tayo. So, yun ang pag-uusapan natin for today. So, let's proceed sa example. So, example number 1. Find the summation of I, where I initially from 1 to n. And, according to the condition, where n is equals to 3. So, saan na magsisimula si I? At saan magtatapos si n? So, I'm going to show you the solution. Let's proceed. Example number 1. Example number 1, evaluate the summation of I initially equals to 1 to n of I having a condition that n is equals to 3. So, what does it mean? If I'm going to solve it using the long method, we can write mano-mano. Ito tinatawag ko mano-manong computation. So, mula daw si I kay 1, sumunod si 2, mag-n kay 3. So, 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6. Okay. But if I'm going to apply the formula, kasi baka sabihin nyo, sir, mas mabilis yung mano-mano. Hindi siya lahat ng pagkakataon. Now, pag yung problem, if the problem becomes a complex, ibig sabihin mas mahirap, pwedeng masolve nyo mano-mano, pero mas matagal. Now, kung iisipin nyo nga naman, ang differential is just subtraction lang, integral is just an addition, pwede nyo namang isolve. Gagawa kayo ng building, mag-add lang kayo ng and subtract. Pwede. Pero it will take time. No, baka years or thousands of years kung gagawa ng yung mole of Asian ng subtract and add lang. So, you need an application or any part of a mathematics that can solve the problem more faster and easier. Kaya wag iisipin na ang calculus ay nagpapahirap. Ang nagpapadali. Ano yung nagpapadali? Pinapadali ang buhay nyo. Kakaisip. Medyo kidding aside. So, yun, laging tatandaan ha. Ang mga math na naimbento, kaya nag-iba-iba yan kasi paraan yan para mapabilis yung pagsosolve sa isang bagay. Kaya nagpapadali, hindi nagpapahirap. So, if I'm going to apply the formula, so ano ba yung formula yan? On page, yung problem na yan can be found on your book on page 144. So, sabi doon sa formula, from y to ayan, is equals to n plus 1 divided by 2. Okay, which is equals to what? N is 3 plus 1 divided by 2. So, 3 times 4 divided by 2, a total of the same answer, 6. So, medyo mas mahirap kung iisipin nyo, no, sir? Kasi mas marami pang step yung formula compare doon sa short method. So, again, paano kung pinag-uusapan that you're going to add 1 to 100? So, are you going to do 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 up to 100? Or just apply yung n plus 1 divided by 2. So that's your decision kung option kung magpapakahirap kayo or hindi. So, syempre doon tayo sa more convenient and easiest way. Okay, so number 2 example. Okay, again on your book on page 145. Okay, what is the summation of I initially from 1 to n of I squared? Okay, where n is equals to 3. So, dinagdagan ko lang ng squared. So, if I'm going to write it in again, sorry, medyo, from the previous topics, no, videos, medyo lalamunan ko parang nagasgas. Kasi labs ko kayo. Okay? So, kung a-apply ko yung may squared, parang 1 squared plus 2 squared plus 3 squared. Or 1 plus 4 plus 9 is equals to 14. So, ganun yan, no? So, imagine niyo agad. Kung siya ay 1 to 100, 1 squared plus 2 squared plus 3 squared hanggang matigok kayo. So, hindi nyo talaga gagawin yan. But again, applying the formula, ano yung formula ng summation of I from 1 to n of I squared? Okay, ano yung pinaka-formula niyan? n plus 1, sorry, times 2n plus 1 over 6. So, substituting the value of n, where n is 3 plus 1, sorry, palitan ko yan, 2 times 3 plus 1 over 6 is equals to 3 times 4, 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1, 7 divided by 6. So, by reducing, so sa atin ha, tandaan, ang engineering, ang accountancy, magagaling sa mga math yan, no? BA, including programmers, comsci, computer. Kasi minsan may na-interview ako, doktor na yun, ha? Excuse me. Sabi, ang undergrad niya, nung nag-aral siya ng college, comsci siya, pero nag-shift daw siya ng iba, no? Pero sabi niya, kaya sir ako nag-comsci, mahina ako sa math, eh. Ha? Nagulat ako, no? Kasi hindi pwedeng magaling ka sa computer, mahina ka sa math. Why? Bakit ko nasabi? Ang computer, 'di ba? Ano ba ang naintindihan lang ng computer? Numbers lang. Dalawang numbers lang actually. Ano 'yun? 0 and 1. So, paano mo masasabing magaling ka sa computer kung mahina ka sa math? No? That's very wrong. That's incorrect. So, dapat magaling ka sa math. So, what I'm trying to say, sa atin, malalaman na ay engineer yan or engineering student yan. Kasi magkakaiba tayo ng pamamaraan. Hindi porket magaling sa math, isa yung pamamaraan natin. Tayo, we always reduce muna before we continue solving. Reduce muna natin sa lowest term bago natin sinusolve. Kaya ito, yan 3 times 4 times 7 divided by 6. Huwag nyo i-multiply. 3 times 4 times 7. Kasi lalaki yung value. If we can reduce it first to its lowest term before multiplying or dividing or applying the operation, mas maliit na, mas madali. So, in this case, 3 by 6. So, 3 will become 1, 6 will become 2. And 4 and 2, 2 become 1, 4 became 2. Or becomes 2. So, ang natira na lang, 1 on the denominator, on the numerator, 1 times 2 times 7 is 14. So, laging ganun gagawin solution. Okay? So, I think, hindi ko na pahabain pa yung mga examples. You still you can look in your book, no, sa mga example na yon. Okay, lalo na yung example number 3, yung may addition. So, sabi sa addition, sa format ng summation notation or formula, pag addition, pinaghihiwalay lang. Okay, so we're going to continue. Medyo bibilisan ko lang ng konting discussion for the introduction of the application of definite integral. Now, para may idea kayo, hindi lang yung basta-basta itinuro na formula, ito yon, then sige, sagutan nyo. Kasi natatandaan ko, ganun yung napagdaanan ko before nung nagka-college ako, na bahala kayong mag-aral. So, hindi ko ganun talaga lubusang maintindihan. Nakakuha ko ng mataas na grade, but na-feel ko na hindi tama kasi nga parang hindi ako nagpumasok or pupunta sa school para lang pumasa. pumupunta ako sa school, nag-aaral ako para matuto, hindi lang pumasa. So, magkaiba yung bagay na yon. So, we're going to continue the discussion. Okay? So, again, standby muna kayo. Tatapusin ko na muna itong, hanggang dito na lang muna yung example. Okay, thank you very much. On your book, look at your book, on page 140, sorry, excuse me, 147. So, explaining the definite integral using the graph. As we recall again, on differential calculus, I have explained to you yung magic graph na paano nagkaroon ng differential calculus. Okay, so it's better for you to review it, pero hindi naman kailangan, pero kasi yun yung mag-explain kung paano nyo naintindihan yung differential calculus. So, same with this one. Okay, for example, in the figure, in the illustration, let's say I have a function, or f of x, which is equals to y. If we're going to graph that function or equation, it will represent a line along x and y axis. So, ito yan, a line or a curve. Okay, if we're going to find for the area bounded by the line, with this part, from A, I'm going to make it an A mark and up to the B mark. So, finding for the area or region, this is the region R, area below the curve along x-axis. So, parang ito yung shape niya. Para siyang trapezoid pero curve nga lang, not a straight line. So, is it possible for us to find for that kind of, or for the area for that kind of shape? Of course, wala. Kasi wala naman tayong napag-aralan yan. So, by the way, we are now going to discuss yung solid mensuration part, which is wala na rin kayo. And for those who enrolled or graduated in the STEM strand, so hoping na discuss sa inyo yung solid mensuration, but for those who are not lucky, ay yun yung medyo magiging problema. But I think same rin naman na hindi rin na-discuss siguro sa iba sa STEM. So listen carefully. So paano ngayon ang gagawin ngayon natin? So if I'm going to define that curve. So, finding the area of a region R below the x-axis on the sides by the line x of A. So, lahat ng points along the curve is considered as an x point. Okay, from this point, we rename it as an A up to this point of the line, we name it as B. Okay, and of course, this function must be a continuous. So, mapapansin niyo yung mga symbol na to. Ito yung medyo pag binabasa mo na hindi ka sanay sa math, na nakakaasar, kaya hindi ka na mag-aaral. So, meron tayong tinatawag kasi na closed interval and open interval. If you say closed interval, a little review, parenthesis yung ginagamit. Ibig sabihin ng closed interval, from A, kasama si A to B. Closed interval. Pag ito ay this is bracket pala, bracket. Pag ito ay parenthesis, ang tawag natin doon ay open interval. It doesn't mean na equal siya sa A. From A to B, but hindi kasama si A. So, that's the difference of closed interval and open interval. Okay, so what are we going to do? Para daw makuha natin yung area na to, okay, subdividing the interval from A to B, where A is less than equals to X, but X is less than but X is less than equals to B into n sub-interval by means of the points x sub 1, x sub 2, up to x sub n. So, if I'm going to plot a point, let's say this point, where this is our A, I'm going to start with x sub 0 as initial. So, each point on the curve represent an x. So, from this point, x sub 0, from this point, gagawin kong x sub 1, from this point, x sub 2. Okay, ang sabi rito, subdividing the interval from A to B into n sub-intervals by means of the points x sub 1 up to x sub n and not necessarily equal in length. So, ibig sabihin, hindi pantay-pantay yung taas. Kasi nga curve siya. Okay, producing the number of rectangular strips. So, we created the strips. Kasi ito yung paraan para makuha natin yung area sa ilalim ng line. So, gagawa tayo ng, actually, pwedeng any shape. No, pwedeng circle, triangle, it's up to you. But, the most basic area or polygon na pwedeng kunin yung area is rectangle or square. Why? Ano ba formula ng rectangle or square? Okay, square is what? Is it a rectangle or rectangle is a square? Square is a rectangle, but rectangle is not a square. Paano nangyari yon? Based on the definition, syempre, one of the properties ng square is considered as rectangle. Na may length, may width. Pero si square, hindi pwedeng, si rectangle, hindi pwedeng maging square. Because according to, for being a square, kailangan equal ang length at saka width. Okay? So, pinaka-basic is rectangle. The formula for the area is length times width. So, ibig sabihin, kung pupunuin ko ng mga rectangles itong area or region na R, makukuha ko. Pero, syempre, hindi naman exactly makukuha natin yan. No? Kasi yan, may mga space, sobra, mas space na kulang. So, mamaya explain natin kung paano kukunin yung area na kabuuan. So, again, x sub o, the relationship of x sub o from a, which is equals to a. We started with this point, a. And a is less than c sub 1. Ano yung c sub 1? Yung first part kung saan tumama yung length na gagamitin natin para sa rectangle na una. Which is x sub 1 naman, yung pangalawang point na kasama sa rectangle na to is less than c sub 2. Yung c sub 2, ito yung parang nasa pagitan ng dalawang x. No, matama sa point na yun. So, ito yung pinapakita lang ng relationship na from A to B. Okay, so this is the relationship. Now, if we're going to find for the difference of the 2 points, let's say if this is x sub 0 and x sub 1, so if I'm going to get the width o yung lapad, okay, we're going to rename it as delta x. So again, delta means difference. So getting the difference between the 2 points. So we have delta x sub 1. So sabi kasi, 'di ba, hindi pantay-pantay yung rectangle and the length. Kaya yung width din na delta x sub 1, delta x sub 2, delta x sub 3, and so on and so forth, hindi rin pantay-pantay. But we all know that delta x means difference of 2 points. Na kaya delta x sub 1 is equals to x sub 1 minus x sub 0 according to this figure. Delta x sub 2 is the difference from x sub 2 and x sub 1. So that's delta x sub 2 and so on and so forth. Up until you reach delta x sub n. So delta x sub n is the final x, or which is x sub n minus x sub n minus 1. It means n minus 1, the subscript, is before the final. Okay, so ganun lang naman yung ibig sabihin niya. Okay, now, adding all the areas of the rectangular strips inscribed in the region. So, may mga rectangles tayong sinolve dyan, no? Where the different lengths are represented by z. Okay, yung between the 2 points, c sub 1, c sub 2. And widths are represented by delta x. So, ito yung lalabas na length para sa first rectangle. Tapos si delta x naman lalabas na width. Kasi kukunin nga natin yung area ng bawat rectangle. So, the area of each rectangle is length times width. Where the length is c sub 1 or c sub I, kasi hindi natin alam kung 1, 2, 3 yan. No? In general, c sub I. And the width is delta x sub I. So, in area 1 or in the first rectangle, so area is length times width. Therefore, c sub 1 times delta x sub 1. Okay, delta x sub 2 naman is the width on the area 2. Kaya, ang area formula for the rectangle 2 is delta x sub 2 times c sub 2, length times width. So, it follows now for a sub 1, a sub 2, a sub 3, a sub 4, a sub 5, and so on and so forth. So, if we can now get all the rectangular areas or the areas of each rectangles below this region or yung kanina na to, we can now get the total area. But the question is, yun na ba yung pinaka-area, yung bawat pag inad ko lahat ng area na to, yun na ba yung area nitong shape na parang tinatawag kong trapezoid? Of course, hindi. Why? Kasi may mga sobra na rectangle or above the curve and may kulang naman below the curve. So, hindi pa yan yung makukuha nating area. So, in summation notation, instead of writing a sub 1 plus a sub 2 plus a sub 3, so babalik tayo sa previous kanina na topic. So, para ma-shortcut natin yung pagsusulat, we're going to write fc sub I. It means c sub I, which is the length, each length, c sub 1, c sub 2, c sub 3, and so on and so forth, times the width. We have delta x sub 1, delta x sub 2. So, kada isang pares, isang area. Isang pares, isang area. If we're going to write it in the summation notation, the summation of the length and the lengths and the width is equals to the area total. So, yung pagkuha daw nung total area ng isang bagay by using rectangular shapes is what we call the Riemann sum. Okay, sino ba si Riemann sum? Okay, sa book, nakasulat, in-indicate ko na yan, George Frederick Bernard Riemann, 1826 to 1866, a German mathematician who developed a system of geometry that aided the development of modern physics. So, based on the Encarta. Okay, so, siya yung nag-produce or nag-provide niya na nakatulong para makakuha or ma-contribute sa integral calculus. So, mamaya mas maintindihan nyo pa siya. Okay, in letting the number of subdivision n increases, ano ibig sabihin? Mas paramihin pa daw natin yung rectangles. Kung kanina, halimbawa, nakabuo lang tayo ng 5 rectangles, so, ang gagawin natin, mas pararamihin natin yung rectangles, hindi lang 5. I-increase natin. Magiging 6. So, ano yung magiging effect? Okay, imagine niyo ulit. Kung ito ay malalaking rectangle, so, ibig sabihin, pag pinarami ko yung rectangle, ano mangyayari sa rectangles? Mas liliit. Ano yung maapektuhan pag mas lumiit? Okay, maapektuhan yung width, yung delta x, at maapektuhan din yung height. So, mas dadami rin yung height, mas dadami rin yung width. Okay, in letting the number of subdivision in n increases in such a way that each delta x or the width approaches to 0. Bakit magiging 0? Kasi nga, dadami yung rectangle, liliit na yung width. So, habang nagdi-decrease siya, papunta siya sa 0, but not equal to 0. Kasi pag wala ng 0, it means wala ng area. Pag 0 na siya, it means wala ng area. Kasi if the width is 0, length times 0 is 0. So, hindi natin gagawin yun. We're going still to apply yung sa differential calculus. Natatandaan yan, approaches to 0 but not equal to 0. 0 doesn't mean negative. No, or, hindi maganda. 0 means yung reality or pagiging 100% is 0, meaning to say, walang mali. Ay ang ibig sabihin nito. No? Approaches to 0. As a result, that the sum of the Riemann sum approaches a limit which does not depend on the mode of subdivision, and denoting this limit by, okay, yan na yun, no? The limit of the Riemann sum, ano ulit yung laman ni Riemann sum? Yung area o areas ng bawat rectangle. Area 1, area 2, area 3. So, a-applyan ko daw ng limit, no? Ayun naman ang function ni limit, na yung width ay papunta sa 0. Ibig sabihin, mas dumadami yung rectangle, mas lumiliit yung width. So, pag ganun daw, in-apply ng limit ang isang bagay, nagiging calculus. But nagiging calculus na integral ang isang bagay pag yung summation o yung mga pinagsama-sama in-applyan ng limits. So, ito na yung magiging symbol natin ngayon. So, we have integral of the function f of x, means ayan yung pinaka-graph, times dx. Yung dx pertaining sa width, yun yung delta x. Yung c sub I, yung point na tinatamaan sa graph, or yung pinaka-length, yun yung f of x. Ano ngayon tong a and b? Okay, if we're going to recall a and b, this is the a and the b. Yan yung una't huli. Okay, so nakakasunod. So, f of x dx is the integrand. Siya yung problem sa integral calculus. A, yung una, we're going to consider that as the lower limit. Kung saan magsisimula. Hindi ka na pwedeng bumaba pa doon. And, yung B naman, yung hangganan, yan naman yung upper limit. So, both lower and upper limits are considered as the range of integration. Okay, so nakakasunod ba? So, yun lang yung pinaka-explanation kung paano nagiging integral calculus. And now, we are dealing with definite integral because of the limits. Now, from A to B. Saan nagsimula at saan nagtapos. Okay, now, since that delta x approaches to 0, so, kung ang delta x ay 0, parami ng parami, ibig sabihin ng rectangle, it means that the number of rectangular strip increases. Okay, tama. Yan yung pinag-usapan natin kanina. Now, indefinitely. Indefinitely means walang katapusan. Hindi natin alam kung kailan natin gaano karami yung rectangles na magagawa. Mas maraming rectangle, mas makukuha natin yung pinaka-shape ng parang trapezoid nga na sinasabi ko. Now, pero hindi pa pwedeng maging 0 ang width kasi nga magiging 0 ang area. Okay, parang sa giniling, no? Yung karne, pag giniling mo, giling na giling, durog na durog. Okay, so, and the width of each rectangular strip will almost be the same. So, wala nang pagkakaiba ngayon yung width ng bawat isa. Kanina kasi may delta x sub 1, may delta x sub 2. Kung mapipino natin or mapaparami natin yung rectangles, so yung width, halos hindi nyo na mapapansin na magkakaiba. Therefore, delta x is equal to delta x sub 1, delta x sub 2, magkaka-equal na ngayon delta x sub n. So, ano mangyayari? Ang magkakaiba na lang yung length, pero yung width, equal na. So, medyo may iba na ngayon natin yung kaninang limits, no, in Riemann sum. Now, we can say that the subinterval approaches infinity. So, habang lumiliit yung delta x or yung width, yung rectangle naman parami ng parami ay yung tinatawag naman na infinity. Okay, so ano yung nabago ngayon? So, kanina kasi yung limit sa Riemann sum, delta x yung involved, approaches to 0. So we can before we can apply integral calculus, kailangan ma-describe natin kung gaano karami ba yung rectangular. So we're going to declare it as infinity. So as the Riemann sum, its limits approaches infinity, we can now consider it as integral calculus. That the integral of the function times dx from a to b is the same as the limits of the Riemann sum where n approaches infinity. Hindi kasi natin pwedeng i-apply agad actually ang integral kung magbe-base lang tayo sa delta x na paiba-iba or the width. Kailangan maging uniform sila. At kailan magiging uniform or equal ang mga delta x? Pag mas pinarami ang rectangular or rectangles. Sa pag dumami, mapupuno yung area, halos makukuha na exact. So, pag napuno ngayon ang, babalikan lang natin ang area ng mga puro rectangles, yung mga space na kulang at yung mga lagpas. So, yung lagpas liliit na yan kasi mas mapipino yung rectangle, pipino yung rectangle, hindi na natin kailangan lumagpas pa ng malaki. At kung mapipino rin yung rectangle, yung mga space naman na kulang, mas mapifill out naman. So, halos makukuha na natin yung shape below this function boundary from A to B along x-axis. So, there's no such thing as 100%, pero almost perfect. Same thing with differential calculus. So, ganun din ang integral calculus. Ganun tayong mga engineers o engineers to be na hindi 100%, kahit nga yung germs 99.9% lang napapatay ng sabon. So, halos ganun din tayo, but leading to perfection. Kaya pag tayo nagmahal, 99.99%. Kaya magmahal, sabihin nyo sa iba, magmahal ng engineer or engineering student. Now, be proud. Okay? So, now we can proceed sa example. Okay. So, example on your book, on page 149, find the area under the line y is equals to x over the interval. Again, yung bracket, meaning to say, close. No, close interval from 1 to 2. So, kasama si 1 and 2. So, ito yung figure. Yung y is equals to x, you have to draw it. Equation yan. Yan yung dapat na ituro ko sa inyo, no? Na dapat alam nyo rin. Paano ba i-drawing to? Kasi pag hindi nyo kayang i-drawing yung equation, wala kayong masosolve. Hindi pa pwedeng i-imagine lang si Sir Ray kung ano ba, gwapo ba? Hindi pwedeng, kailangan makita nyo personal. Nakita nyo na ako, ano masasabi nyo. Okay, joke lang ha. So, yung y is equals to x, actually, it is a line. No? Analytic naman tayo ngayon topic natin. No? It is a line, which is an inclined line. A line na inclined that passes through the origin. So, ito yun. Pag dinrawing natin. Yan si y is equals to x. That's the function that we're talking about. So, pag hindi nyo alam i-drawing, nga ang mangyayari. So, sabi, find the area under the line. So, I'm going to draw a line, straight line. So, mahaba yan. Pero, hindi natin kailangan kunin yung sobrang haba. Kasi sabi, over the interval from 1 to 2. So, if we have an x-axis, let's say this is x equals to 1 and this is x equals to 2. So, ang kinukuha lang natin itong particular na area. So, ito na yung part na yun, no? So, pinutol ko na. So, in the shape of trapezoid. So, yung b sub 1 sa trapezoid is 1 and b sub 2 yung base sub 2 is equals to 2. So, natatandaan nyo ba yung formula ng trapezoid? Okay, kung alam nyo yung formula ng trapezoid, well, masasagutan nyo yung formula ng area. But, hindi tayo gagamit ng any formula doon sa solid mensuration ng area and volume in the integral calculus. So, ito yung mahiwaga dyan, no? Yung biglang magpapasikat ka na kaya kong sagutan yung area na yan ng hindi ko alam yung formula. Tapos biglang magdo-drawing ka ng ganyan. Tapos yung girl, o kung sa boy naman, o sa girl naman, yung boy nakatingin sa'yo, natutulala, hindi na alam yung gagawin. Habang nagsasalita ka, sa'yo na lang nakatingin, na in love na, at nagalingan na sa'yo. No? Biruin mo, walang formula, ginamitan mo lang ng calculus, tapos masosolve mo ngayon yung problem. Okay, sarap nun, di ba? Okay. So, proceed tayo. So, paano ngayon natin siya isosolve? Okay, kung natatandaan ninyo yung formula, okay, balik lang natin. Okay, ano yung pinaka-formula ng kanina? So, recall tayo. For delta x, okay, sorry. Okay, sabi kanina, the integral of f of x dx from a to b, a to b, baka tayo sumulat, yan, a to b is equals, in Riemann sum, no, limits of the summation of the length times the width, times the width from I initially 1 to n. Okay, ano yung limits? Si n daw must be approaches to infinity na para maging integral calculus. So, we have two formulas. First formula, where delta x or the width is equals to b minus a. Again, what is our b? The upper limit, and a is the lower limit divided by n, kung ilang beses daw ginawa yung rectangles. Where c sub I, kaya yun yung length, no, ng bawat rectangle, is equals to a, which is the lower limit, plus I, subscript lang yan, kung ilan hati-hatiin, times the width, delta x. So, gagamitin ngayon natin yan. Okay, so, on the problem, ang sabi doon, okay, find for the area bounded by the line, y is equals to x from 1 and 2. Kaya ito yung naging shape niya. Ito yung naging shape niya. Okay? So, paano daw ngayon ang gagawin ngayon natin dyan? So, going back again to the equation that y is equals to f of x. Okay, ito yon. Okay, sorry. And, ayan yon. Si y yan. Y is equals to f of x. Is equals, according doon, no? Kasi mas pararamihin daw natin itong rectangle na yan. Ayan, dadami. No? Para makuha natin yung shape na yan. Pararamihin natin. So, ano nangyayari sa pagdumami? Yung length, yung fc sub I, dadami, magkakaiba yon. Pero yung width, yung delta x, approaches to 0. So, pwede ngayon natin na-apply yung limits. O, yung Riemann sum muna tayo. Para mas maintindihan. So, sa Riemann sum, limits of the summation of fc sub I times delta x, yun yung mga formula ng bawat area ng rectangle from I, so saan ako nagsimula, lower limit to n. Ayun yung parang upper limit where n must be approaches to infinity. Okay, pag in-apply ko ngayon ang integral calculus, limits na yan, integral symbol na of fc sub I. Ito si fc sub I natin. Okay, siya yung lumalabas na length kung saan tumatama doon sa line. So, siya si x. Tapos, ito namang si delta x, si width, na halos equal na, hindi pala halos equal, equal na, no? Kasi paliit ng paliit, siya na yung gagawin nating dx. Okay, so ano ngayon yung pinaka-limit? Yung hangganan, okay? Sabi sa problem, from 1 to 2. Kaya, from 1 to 2. Okay, so yun ang magiging formula ngayon natin. So, syempre, ang gagamitin nating problem sa pagsasolve ito. Ayan. Kasi hindi pa natin i-discuss pa yung integral. So, basic muna ngayon tayo. So, based on c sub I and delta x formula, so solve natin using this formula. Okay, so punta tayo sa una. What is our delta x? Okay, formula, b minus a. What is our b? 2 minus 1 divided by n. Okay, yung n, ano yung magiging n? Hindi natin alam kung ilan hahatiin, no? Kasi infinity. Okay, so in short, we have 1 over n. Our delta x. Tapos, aburahin ko muna to. Sa kabal. Tapos, yung c sub I naman, formula a, our lower limit is 1. Yung I, dahil hindi natin alam kung ilan hahatiin, still I, times 1 over n, no, based sa delta x. Kanina na result. Okay? So, we have equation 1 and equation number 2. So, gagamitin ngayon natin yan. Okay? So, proceed tayo next. Okay. Re-write ko lang ulit yung kanina. So, we have y is equals to, again, the function, which is equals to the integral of x dx from 1 to 2 is equals to the Riemann sum or limits of the summation where I is equals to 1 to n of fc sub I delta x where n approaches infinity. Okay, so meron na tayong value kanina na delta x. Okay, value ni delta x ay 1 over n. Tapos yung value ni c sub I kanina ay 1 plus I times yung delta x na value 1 over n. So, yan yung gagamitin ngayon natin. So, yung integral, hindi muna tayo mag-solve ng integral ha, Riemann sum lang, na x dx ay equal kay limits ng summation. So, papalitan ngayon natin si c sub I. So, si c sub I, siya si 1 plus, okay, yung I, papasok ko na dito ha, para tipid tayo ng parenthesis. So, lalabas na I over N. Okay, times delta x. So, ano yung delta x? Ito yung dito tingin, dito yung tingin. Ay, dito tayo nagpo-focus. So, ano ngayon yung delta x? Yung delta x, siya si 1 over N. Okay, initially ay from 1 to N. Hindi natin alam kung ilang rectangle ang gagamitin kasi nga infinity. Mas marami natin gagawin at 0 ha, infinity. Okay, so let's continue solving. Natatandaan nyo pa ba lang yung rule ng limits? Sa differential natin kasi diniscuss yan. A-apply ngayon natin ha. So, dalawa iintindi natin. Yung first part, paano i-apply yung summation. Okay, kaninang formula. Pag na-evaluate na natin yan, saka natin i-evaluate naman yung limits. So, dalawa yung iintindihin natin. So, first, simplify muna natin yung rule ng summation. So, ano sabi sa summation? Okay, may mga rule eh. Simplify muna natin itong part na to para madali nating i-apply na lang yung rule ng summation, no? So, again, limits. Yung limits, mamaya na. From 1 to N, where N approaches infinity. Okay, times. Okay, simplify muna natin. Algebra muna tayo. So, si 1 sub N, multiply ko kay 1, kaya 1 over N. Si 1 sub N, multiply ko kay I sub N. Okay, nakakasunod ba? Again, si 1 sub N, multiply ko kay 1. Si 1 sub N, multiply ko kay I sub N. So, plus I over N squared. Okay na. Okay, so sabi sa rule ng summation, pag addition, pwedeng paghiwalayin. So, we can separate para maayos. Ako ng bracket, the summation of 1 over N plus the summation of 1 over N squared. Okay, where both I equals to 1 to N, I is equals to 1 over N. Okay, so wala muna tayong limits. Hindi muna natin ina-apply yung limits. Mamaya na yan. Okay, so equals, we have limits where N approaches infinity. Okay, yung first na 1 over N. Okay, may formula tayo doon, di ba? Okay, ano ba si N muna? Constant. Ano sabi sa formula? Pag constant, nilalabas. Kaya ilalabas ko lang si 1 over N. I-multiply ko doon sa N din. Okay, so reviewin nyo na lang ulit yung formula. Ganyan yung pag-evaluate yan. At pasensyahan nyo na yung sulat, ha? Papagod na yung daliri ko. Plus, okay, ano ulit yung 1 over N squared? Okay, N is a constant. Walang epekto kay summation, kaya ilalabas ko lang rin. Multiply again by N. Okay, so nakakasunod. Okay, double check. Ay, hindi pala pwede, no? So, napagkamalan kasi nating 1 yung isa. Mali. So, this is I pala. Ayan, so, kung siguro may pasok tayo, sabi nyo, sir, mali yung ano nyo, hindi 1 yan. I pala. So, not I squared, I lang. So, hindi natin pala magagamit to. Okay, yung 1 over N squared, pwedeng ilabas. Pero, may matitira pa rin I. I-evaluate kasi natin yan sa labas mamaya. Okay? So, next, pwede na natin cancelin pala to muna, no, para mas maayos. Okay, tapos mamaya, i-evaluate na natin itong part na to. May sariling formula yan. Continue tayo. So, meron tayong limits where n approaches infinity. Tapos, yung kanyang na-cancel, 1 na lang natira. Tapos, may 1 over n squared tayo. Okay, so, i-evaluate na natin yung summation of I. Ano yung formula ng summation of I? Sabi summation of I, n plus 1 over 2 close. Okay, dapat pala ito. Okay, so natanggal na natin yung summation. So, susunod na natin i-apply yung limits, pero bago i-apply yung limits, simplify muna natin yung nasa loob ng braces. So, we have limits of n approaches infinity. Okay, ito muna. Evaluate muna natin. So, si 1, still 1. Cancel si n. May matitira pang isa. So, matitira na lang sa numerator, n plus 1. Sa ilalim, may n at saka may 2. Kaya, 2n. Okay, nakakasunod. Okay, nasusundan. Okay, kung pwede pang i-evaluate or simplify nyo pa before natin i-apply yung limits. No? Pero according sa limits, pag addition, pwede rin paghiwalayin. No? So, pwede ko nang paghiwalayin si 1 at si n plus 1 over 2n. Okay, both n approaches infinity. Okay, mamaya magugulat kayo. Sir, ang haba ng pagsosolve nung area lang. Samantalang pag ginamitan ng integral, napaka-ikli. Totoo yan, sobrang ikli niyan mamaya. So, diniscuss ko lang sa inyo kung paano yung tamang proseso. Hindi tayo nag-shortcut, ha. Sa engineering, kailangan long process bago mag-shortcut. Kailangan maintindihan. Okay, sige, evaluate na nga natin itong first part. What is the limit of constant? Hindi integral ng constant, ha. Limit ng constant is still constant kasi walang kinalaman si 1 kay n. Kahit si n pa ay papunta kay infinity. So, still, the first term is 1. Okay, how about on the second term? Ayusin ko nga to. N plus 1 to, eh. So, n plus 1. Tapos ito, 2n. Yan. So, paano ngayon ini-evaluate yan? So, syempre, yung n plus 1 over 2n, pwede nating paghiwalayin si 2 at saka si n. So, meron ako kasing, ito, pwede kong ilabas na to. Parang may 1 yan, eh. So, pwede kong gawin para mas mabilis, labas ko si 1/2 limits of n plus 1 over n na lang. Para mas madaling i-evaluate yung infinity na limits. Okay, so we have 1 plus 1/2. Okay, so paano natin i-evaluate yung limits? So, limits again, pagka addition, pwedeng paghiwalayin. So, paano ngayon natin paghihiwalayin? So, we have limits. Okay, common yung denominator of n over n plus limits of 1 over n. And both n approaches infinity. Okay, so mas mabilis i-evaluate. So, 1 plus 1/2. Okay, n over n is 1. So, what is limits of 1? Walang kinalaman kay n, still 1. Plus limits of 1 over n. So, imagine that my n is infinity. Okay, pag sinabing infinity, sobrang laki. Isang bagay, paghati-hatian sa sobrang dami, anong mangyayari? O, isang candy, pinaghati-hatian ng 1,000 na estudyante. So, halos wala nang matitikman nyo, no? So, it means, it is equals to 0. Okay, good. So this is now eliminated. So this is 0. So we have 1 plus 0. Okay, so bali wala na to, ano, kung titingnan nyo. So we have simply 1 plus 1 half, or equals to 3 over 2. So kailangan may unit. Ano ba pinag-uusapan? Area. So ano ngayon ang unit na pinag-uusapan? Area. Anong area? Area ng ano? Hindi natin alam kasi wala namang sinabi kung sa centimeter ba, meter. So pag walang unit, lagyan ng unit. So lumalabas that this is the area kasi hinahanap sa problem of 3 half. Pag walang unit, lagyan ng unit na square unit. So pamalian ko yung pag walang unit eh. So ito yung magiging sagot. Okay, so nasusundan ba? Mahaba. Siyempre ayaw nyo ng ganyan, kaya padadaliin natin yan later on. Pero kung sinasabi ko kanina, based sa area ng ng trapezoid, diba? Ito yung itsura kanina ng figure. Ganyan yung figure kanina. Yung base 1, ano ba yung base 1 kanina sa figure? Baka malito kayo, baliktad pala. Figure kanina pa ganito. So, yung base 1 ay 1, yung base 2 ay 2. Okay, so ano yung formula ng area? Formula ng area, gawin ko ng black. Ang trapezoid, we have para rin siyang ano pinagsamang square and triangle, no, by the figure. So, we have 1 half base 1 plus base 2 times the height. Okay, ang lumalabas na height natin, yung pinaka-base, ito. So, yung pinaka-base, okay, ano yung pinaka-base? Di ba siya yung from 1 to 2 rin? Ayan. So, ano yung pinaka-lumalabas na base? Ay, sorry, height pala. Sorry, height. So, difference, no? From 1 to 2 is 1. Ibig sabihin, 1 half, base 1 is 1, plus base 2 is 2, height is 1. So, we have 1 half, 3 times 1. So, this is the same. Area is equals to 3 over 2 square units. Okay, so equal lang sila. Pero hindi tayo magbabay formula again. At hindi pa rin tayo gumagamit ng integral calculus. So, yung susunod na problem or example number 2, aralin nyo na rin using Riemann sum. Yung formula ng delta x and c sub I. So, aralin nyo lang para mas lubusang maintindihan. Pero, ang focus natin ay integral calculus. So, mas maintindihan na natin yan mamaya, mas mabilis, if we're going to apply integral calculus. So, that will be our next topic. Pero, pag-uusapan pa natin yung mga properties bago tayo sumabak sa integral calculus. Okay, see you there. Okay, sound trip muna tayo. And guess what? Okay, tingin kayo sa lower part. The time right now is 2:13 a.m. October 10, 2020. That makes me a vampire. Hindi ako natutulog. Okay, mali to ha. Huwag niyong gagayahin. Nakasanayan ko na lang to. For my love for you. Kasi gusto ko kayo matuto, kaya huwag sayangin. I'm doing my part, so do your part also. Okay, so I think let's continue the discussion. Continuing the discussion, so may mga na-skip na ako munang topic sa book, yung mga hindi naman topic, it's just explanation. So, hindi ko na-explain pa mamaya yung properties ng yung paano ba ini-evaluate yung limits using integral. So, shortcutting ko na yon, pero pwede nyong aralin mamaya. Okay, so let's discuss first yung some properties of definite integrals. Okay, from, again, yung kanina, from Riemann sum, tapos pagka yung n approaches infinity, yung pwede nang gawing integral calculus yung Riemann sum. Now, where a is less than b. Yung a, yan yung lower limit, yung b, yan yung upper limit, or the range of integration. First property, if the problem exists that the upper limit, yung b dapat yun, kailangan mas malaki siya. No, mas nagkabaliktad. What I mean, na mas malaki yung lower kesa sa upper. You can still do it, the process, as long that you're going to put a negative sign before or in the final answer. So, pwede yun, ha? Basta, kung magkapalit man yung limits, basta lagyan ng negative. Understandable yun. Now, if both upper and lower are equal, parehas mataas or parehas mababa, huwag nyo nang ituloy yung sagot. It means 0 na siya. Okay, kasi ang isa sa ruling sa limits, applying the limits in the integral, upper minus lower. Kaya kung magkamukha ang upper or magkamukha ang lower, pag sinubtract mo, 0. Okay, now, what if the problem is this, na yung limits mo sobrang laki? Sabihin natin from 1 to 50. So, mahirap i-apply yung ganong kahaba. So, pwede mo naman chop-chopin siya. No, pwedeng 1 to 5 muna, tapos sumunod 5 to 10. But be careful with your indicating the limits. Kung chop-chopin mo siya, kahit ilang piraso, walang problema. Now, from halimbawa, again, 1 to 50, ginawa mong 1 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20. Same function, magkakaiba lang ng limits, but addition yun, continuous yung function. Kasi yung 1 to 50, kung na-example ko, it must be continuous yung function. Pag dinrawing mo yon, katulad ng sinabi ko rin kanina, kailangan pag dinrawing, alam nyo yung equation. O yung equation, pag dinrawing, dapat alam nyo itsura. Okay, now, what if the function is a constant? So, kahit limits pa yan, same procedure pa rin tayo sa pinaka-basic ng limits, ng integral pala, di ba? Pag may constant, yung function in-integrate, pwedeng ilabas si constant. So, the constant can freely go out on the integral symbol. Okay, in adding and or subtracting two functions, in limits, same in integral calculus basic formula, you can separate the two equations. Now, you can add the two separated equations or subtract. Okay, ganun lang kasimple. So, now, let's proceed on the example. Okay, example number 1, same yung problem kanina. Babalikan natin kasi medyo mahaba yung solution. But now, paiikliin na natin, no? So, find the area under the line y is equals to x. No, same pa rin yan, over the interval of 1 and 2. Now, if I'm going to solve that, okay, sabi ko kanina, kailangan nyo rin alamin yung pinaka itsura ng kalalabasan ng equation. So, yung y is equals to x, kailangan pag dinrawing yan sa x and y axis, alam nyo, no? Line si y is equals to x. Straight line siya, pero inclined to the right slash. So, dapat inaral nyo na yan sa analytic before. So, hindi na natin mababalikan, no? Halong solid mensuration ngayon tayo at analytic. Okay, incline to the right and the line will pass through the origin. Kaya tingnan nyo yung pinaka-figure. So, si line, straight line, incline to the right na dumaan sa origin. Tapos, over the interval daw yung area na hanapin from 1 to 2x is equals to 1 and 2. So, ito yung sinagutan natin kanina. So, if we're going to recall yung Riemann sum kanina, recall tayo ng Riemann sum kanina, no? Yung Riemann sum, yun yung ina-apply pa ng limits where n approaches infinity. Okay, Riemann's ni fc sub I times delta x. So, ano yung c sub I? Yung length, yung taas. Ito yung taas niyan. Tapos yung delta x naman, itong lapad ng bawat rectangle. Since pantay-pantay na yung rectangle, kaya n approaches infinity, where I is 1 to n. So, hindi natin alam kung ilan yung hati niyan. So, ginamitan natin yan ng formula ni Riemann's na para kay C sabay at saka delta x. Yun yung mahaba kanina. Now, the equivalent of the Riemann sum applying the limits is in the integral of f of x dx. Okay, limits from a to b. Ano yung f of x dx? If this is the equation, line yan si y. Now, according dito, siya si function, di ba? And according sa problem, it is also equals to x. Therefore, we can also write this one as the integral of x dx. Limits from a to b. Okay, pero yung limits na a to b, papalitan na natin ng 1 and 2. Kaya buburahin na natin yung a to b. Okay, magiging from 1 to 2. O, yan na lang. Kaya pag sinob na natin yan, madali. So, aralin nyo yung yung how to evaluate limits on integral. So, shortcutting ko na lang to. Kung gusto nyo mas maintindihan pa, so nasa book naman yan. So, sa pag-evaluate ng limits sa integral, huwag nyo muna intindihin yung limits. I-integrate nyo lang muna yung functions. So, huwag nyo muna isipin yung 1 to 2. So, what is the integral of x dx? So, we have x squared over 2. Okay, walang plus c, ha? Kasi, definite na tayo. So, mabawala dapat si x, magkakaroon ng exact value, kaya walang plus c. So, paano natin i-apply yung limits na 1 to 2? So, lalagyan natin ng bracket. Ganyan ako mag-solve from 1 to 2. Okay, so one of the ruling in applying limits in the integral, tatandaan, no, upper limit minus lower limit. So, we're going to substitute the upper limit on the equation. So, yung x magiging 2 squared over 2 minus the lower limit, papalitan ko si x ng 1 squared over 2 pa rin. Okay? So, 2 squared minus 1 squared, 2 raised to 2 is 4, minus 1 is 3. Tapos, common factor of 2. So, yan din yung sagot kanina. Sir, ang dali-dali naman pala. Kanina, ang haba-haba. Yun yung sinasabi ko na hindi ka pwedeng gumawa ng building lang ng add, subtract, multiply, divide. So, ang calculus nagpapadali ng buhay, hindi, ng problem. Okay, now, may isang paraan sa pagsasolve din dyan. No? Kasi minsan, mahaba yung kasi sinasama nyo pa yung kabuuan. So, pwedeng kung yung constant may ilabas, pwede nang ilabas, ha? Para hindi na makagulo. So, balik tayo kanina. Where the area is equals to x squared over 2 limits from, okay, magaspang na yung daliri ko, 1 to 2. Oops. So, yung 1 half, pwede ko nang ilabas. Doon na lang natin i-apply yung limits sa variable according sa property yan. Okay, so applying the limits on the variable, yung 1 half, nilabas ko na, hindi na makakagulo. So, x will be replaced as the upper limit, 2 squared. X will be replaced by the lower limit, 1 squared. Okay, mas kung kukumpara nyo dito sa dalawa na to, So, we have 1 half, 2 squared is 4, minus 1 is 3. So, the answer is also 3 over 2. Same. Okay, so nakakasunod. So, pwedeng ganun yung problem. So, now, let's proceed sa next example. So, pag may question, just leave a message sa messenger, sa mga nag-leave ng message sa messenger ko, very good. Kaya naman, mag-comment kayo dito sa Facebook, ay sa YouTube, sorry. And again, yung mga hindi pa nagsasubscribe, mahiya naman kayo. Konting hiya-hiya, hindi, biro lang. So, subscribe and like. And yung na rin, bell button para sa tuwing may bagong video, ma-updating kayo. Okay, so tayo sumunod na example. Second example actually is the problem number 3 on your book. Ano yung problem number 3 sa book ninyo? The integral from 0 to 2 of x squared times the square root of x cubed plus 1 dx. Okay, so ano sabi ko? Pagka nakita ng problem, ngitian. Huwag titingin sa katabi. at isiping madali. Actually, madali lang naman yan. Nako sir, product rule yan by parts. Nako, pwede ha, pwede yan. Or sir, gamitan ko ng trigonometric substitution. Pwede rin. Pero common sense minsan, no? Na kailangan ba gamitin yon? Kung dalawa yan, kung may eliminate ko yung isang function dyan, parang eliminate. Pag dinerive ko ba yung isa, matatanggal yung isa. Pag pwede, hindi nyo kailangan ng by parts, hindi nyo rin kailangan ng substitution. For example, si x squared ba pwede ko matanggal? Yes, by deriving what? X cubed. Kasi ang derivative ni x cubed ay 3x squared. So, magbibigay siya ng x squared, makakancel. So, let's try. Okay, so at first, pala muna, for the meantime, radical gawin natin exponential muna, ha? Para hindi kayo malito. So, we have x squared times the quantity x cubed plus 1 raised to 1 half. And para hindi nakakalito. Mas madaling evaluate. Now, we're going to let u yung makakancel yung x squared, no? Si x cubed plus 1. So, pag dinerive ko si u, magiging 3x squared dx kasi derivative ng 1, 0. So, papalitan ko si dx ng du. Kaya, i-divide ko muna ng 3x squared. Okay, cancel na siya. Okay, so substitute na natin. So, we have integral from 0 to 2 of x squared. Hindi ko pinalitan yan. Yung x cubed plus 1, ginawa kong u raised to 1 half. Yung dx, ginawa kong du over 3x squared. Ayan, yan sinasabi ko na pwede nang makancel si x squared. Tapos lalabas ko lang yung constant na 1/3 integral from 0 to 2 of u raised to 1 half du. So, simpleng power rule lang siya. Hindi nyo kailangan ng by parts. Okay, according sa power rule, just add 1, divide by the total of the exponent. Okay, so we have 1/3 times u. Okay, plus 1 ni 1 half ay 3 halves over 3 halves. Pasensya na sa ano ko, walang plus c and apply limits from 0 to 2. Okay, yung denominator na 3 halves, i-reciprocate na natin para hindi makasama sa limits mamaya. So, times 2/3. And, tapos meron na lang akong u raised to 3 halves 0 to 2. Okay na? So, simplifying further, we have 2 over 9. Si u, papalitan ko na. Ano value ngayon ni u? U is equals to x cubed plus 1. But don't forget, may exponent yan na 3 halves. Limits from 0 to 2. Now, we're going to apply the limits to the whole quantity na x cubed plus 1 na, kasi hindi sila pwedeng paghiwalayan dahil may exponent na 3 halves. Tatandaan yon. Hindi pwedeng paghiwalayan kasi isang pamilya lang sila. Nasa quantity siya ng 3 halves. So, I have 2 over 9. Okay, so upper limit muna tayo. 2 raised to 3 plus 1 raised to 3 halves. Upper minus yung lower. 0 raised to 3 plus 1 raised to 3 halves. Okay? So, next, we have 2 over 9. Evaluate. 2 raised to 3. 2 times 2. 4 times 2. 8. Plus 1, 9. So, we have 9 raised to 3 halves. Okay, nasusundan. Simpleng algebra lang yan, ha? Ay, simpleng math lang yan. 0 raised to 3 is 0. Plus 1 is 1. So, 1 raised to 3 halves. Okay, so simpleng rule na lang yan. What is 9 raised to 3 halves? O, sige nga, ano ibig sabihin ng 9 raised to 3 halves? So, discuss ka lang natin ng konti. Hindi ko siya shortcutin. Yung 3 halves, pwede ko gawing ibalik sa square root. Yung 2, magiging square root, no? 9 raised to 3, parang ganun yan. Nasusundan. So, yung 9 raised to 3, pwede kong gawing, buburahin ko lang ng konti ito. So, ibig sabihin, tatlong 9 parang ganon. No, pwedeng tatlong 9. 9 times 9 times 9 or 9 squared times 9. Diba? 9 squared times 9. Okay, nasusundan. Tapos, yung 9, kasi para iteterno ko na tag 2 pwede ko ring tanggalin to. So, tanggalin ko muna nga. 9, sige, times 9, times 9. Yan, para hindi magulo. Yung 1, pwede ring 1 raised to 3. Wala namang magbabago sa 1. So, balik tayo ng math 101. So, 2 over 9 times, okay, yung 9 can be written as 3 squared times 3 squared times 3 squared. Ayan, di ba? Bakit ko pa ginagawa to? Kasi yung iba sa inyo mababait, papalusot na hindi na matandaan. Yung kabila, 1 na lang talaga yan. Okay, so lahat ng, kasi 2 to no? May 2 dyan sa labas. Lahat ng magkakamuka, tanggal na. So, may ilalabas na natin yung tatlong 3. So, magiging 2 over 9. So, 3 times 3 times 3. Wala na siya sa square root. Okay. So, 3 times 3, 9. Shortcutting ko na konti Yung 3 and 3, 9. Tanggal na si 9. So, meron na lang ako. Ay, hindi pala pwede. Sorry. Mali ako. May minus 1 pa pala doon. It's my fault. Ayan. Kamamadali ko, no? So, hindi pwede kasi may minus 1. Kung wala sana yung minus 1, kung wala muna to, kung sakali na wala to, pwede na. Okay, kaya ingat din, ha? Nagkakamali rin ako. Tao lang ako. Nasasaktan din at nai-inlove. Okay, joke. So, continue tayo. 3 times 3, 9 times 3, 27. So, this is 27. So, 27 minus 1 is 26. So, we have 2 over 9 times 26. So, pwede bang i-reduce si 26 and 9? I think hindi pa pwede. So, 2 times 26 is what? 52 over 9. So, this is the final answer. So, tama yan pag chinek nyo sa book. So, we still have more examples on book and exercises, activities. So, hindi na natin pahabain pa yung explanation about limits on definite integrals. Kasi right after this, ang susunod na natin sa book, magsisimula na tayo sa application na tayo. Skip na tayo, no? Doon na tayo sa area na and volume. So, after area, then volume. Tapos, we're done with integral calculus. So, mababayaran ko na yung utang ko sa integral calculus. So, again, magsa-sign off na ako. Inaantok na rin ako. Yung mata ko bumabagsak na. I need a rest. Okay, may time siguro, no? Workout din kasi ako. Bibideo ko rin kung paano ako nag-workout. Turuan ko yun ng mga tips para gumanda yung katawan. Na joke. So, again, I hope you understand and you like our topic discussion for today, for this part 4. And if you do, just subscribe and like my page, or YouTube channel pala, YouTube channel. Okay, thank you very much. God bless us all. Love you.